time it is, man. They got some crazy things going on in Philadelphia. Let me tell you. They got somebody running around in a Chucky mask. And, asking questions like, "Are you ready to die?" and all that. Philly, yeah, it ain't gonna be long. But that motherfucker, you gonna see a man over there somewhere in the gutter, some damn where in a body in the alley. You know what I'm saying? I already know. It's a lot of crazy ass people out here, man. They better hurry up and catch up to that motherfucker before something really happen. Cause he got to be deranged, whoever it is, woman or man, got to be deranged. Cause you know somebody out there got that thing. And you gonna walk up to somebody and say, "Are you ready to die?" And motherfucker gonna say, "No, but you is," and let that thing go. It's a lot of mentally ill people out here right now, especially when the economy go bad. Everything go bad out here. You feel me? All the sickies and shit, they ain't getting what they used to get, and they go, they get to getting out here on the hunt. Motherfuckers get their house broke in and every goddamn thing. You got to be sitting with that thing right there on the kitchen table. Back like in the old school where they put the shotgun at the door. You know what I'm saying? Old man come to the door with the shot and pick the shotgun up. May I help you? That's the way it is out here. But I know they got to be, I know the person can't be walking around at this time, you know. Yeah. Well, it ain't, don't crash out. You can't crash out. You know what I'm saying? You just have to, you got to harness, the energy, and just it's about staying out of that frequency. Bottom line, staying out the frequency and staying, trying to stay somewhere where you ain't engaging with that low frequency and shit, cause it'll make you want to crash out. It'll make you want to goddamn crash out. That's how it is. And when I get the feeling, I stay the hell off the street, straight up. Cause I'm not gonna let no, cause it's a nigga out there ready to push your button. That. Yeah, it's a nigga out there ready to push your button, when you least expect it. And the thing is, you cannot fall for that. You can't fall for that now. Cause you gonna end up losing big for a nothing ass nigga. That's really what it is. You got to look at how that way. And in your mind, and if you don't harness your emotions, if you don't harness your emotions, you a trip. Cause the nigga will say something, I know how I am. I know how I am. It don't take much. And so I try to, I'm like motherfucking Bruce Banner. I be trying to harness that energy and try to keep that shit in there by staying in my mind. In my mind, I got a vision of who I am and what I'm supposed to be. And I know what niggas and I know how I respond. So I don't go there because I done seen too many niggas lose like that. When you didn't see niggas lose, you have to that vision come up like I can't do that. You feel me? So I just stay out these motherfuckers' way, straight up. When I, it just that's just the best option all the time. That's just the best option all the time. Cause I already know, when I be moving, I know how I am. I've been the same person for so long. And I don't be grimming nobody. I don't do no shit like that. But you could tell when I'm out, I know I'm in my mind. In my mind, I'm not looking, I'm not looking at nobody. But I know in my mind, motherfuckers probably like this nigga. You know what I'm saying? This nigga look crazy. Not crazy in the sense, but like it wouldn't take shit to, get this shit popping. And that ain't even the energy I'm trying to put out. But in my mind, I guess it automatically, I shift when I hit the streets, it shift automatically. And the motherfuckers probably be looking at me like, not that nigga. You know what I'm saying? No, sir, not that nigga right there. That nigga look like he ready for all this shit. You know what I'm saying? And that don't make me the hardest nigga in the world. Just make me one nigga you don't want to fuck with. You feel me? That ain't got to be the hardest nigga in the world. Just, go to the next nigga. You feel me? And that's just what it is. But it's a lot of men, and because it's a lot of mentally ill niggas out here, and I know that. So it ain't about being no hard nigga, because it's some crazy niggas out here, and I'm talking about crazy. And so you ain't even trying to engage them motherfuckers. You trying to move around. You feel me? Step to the side. Let their ass go on by. You know what I'm saying? It's the best thing to do. Keep moving. Keep moving. But out there in Philadelphia, that ain't gonna last long. That song. Walking around Philadelphia talking about is you ready to die? Yeah, yeah. Ray out there with that sword. You already know, Ray. You already know. Our policy. It's been that way for a long time too, and it's gonna stay that way. You feel me? We don't want, hey, we over here, we moving this way. You know what I'm saying? We ain't throwing it in reverse. We ain't man, we going this way. And that's the way we gonna move. We don't have no time for no motherfucking nonsense at all. At all. And you shouldn't either. I mean, that's what I mean by keep it moving. And you know what I'm saying? Keep it moving. Y'all niggas pause for too much fuckery. You pausing for too much fuckery out here, man. That ain't even of a, real nigga concern, real talk. We got shit to achieve. We got shit to achieve. That ain't it at all. But anyway, family, if you out there in Philly, stay safe. And there might be some copycat nigga. Try to don't pull the nigga wig back. But if a motherfucker talking about are you ready to die? Are you ready to die? No, it ain't nobody. Listen, I'm consistent. I ain't got shit. Throw my hands up. You feel me? But anyway, yeah, we know it's all good, family. Just let's keep it. And be safe out there. Put you some mace on you. Get you some bear mace and motherfucker say, and spray the shit out his ass. Make, make that motherfucker wash up in that mace, put so much shit, to the motherfucker, it's just dripping or ain't dripping off, the mace just dripping off his ass. That's all you had to do, and that's necessary. People don't know how just a little bit of mace can get a nigga ass up off of you quick. Cause once that motherfucker, especially if you get that shit in his eyes, in his mouth and shit, in his nose, spray that shit all up in there. Spray that shit up in his, get it all up in his nose, in his eyes and mouth, spray the shit out his ass. You know, that motherfucker gonna be gagging. That motherfucker gonna be looking for oxygen, family. I guarantee you, he ain't gonna want no more problems and shit. You then just call them peoples and shit. Come get his ass up off the street out there being the menace, walking up to women and shit, talking about is you ready to die? That got to be, yeah, like damn, you know what I'm saying? That got to be really scary to have somebody walk up to you with a Chucky mask on, talking about is you ready to die? Hell no, I ain't ready to die, but you is, I can tell you that. You know, they make a motherfucker put a thing on them. And that's another reason why, and you be trying not to go there. I mean, when I was young, nigga, I'm just like him, but you know what? I say, you know what? Let me put this motherfucker up. You know what I'm saying? Because a nigga will make it and you get to feeling like you in the right. You know what I'm saying? And so if you got it on, you gonna feel like you and you been to really pull the nigga wig back. So I stopped, you know what I'm saying? You be wanting to carry it, but that motherfucker change you too. You know, motherfuckers got to know that. It'll change you. You will be thinking you Clint Eastwood and shit, and you will pull that motherfucker out for whatever. You know, you got to know when and where. So if you ain't got that, you know, you got to have discipline. You got to train for that shit. So when it's upon you, you know what I'm saying? You don't act irrational and emotional. You know, cause hey, I'm telling you, your nigga been to saying something that don't require you to, and you will respond back. You know, and you know, escalating the shit. Like nigga, what you say, nigga? Nigga, bitch, nigga, what? You know, you will say you been saying some shit to escalate that shit. Yeah, you got to stay ready now. Chopper City, you already know, nigga. Nigga. You know what I'm saying? Niggas in, yeah, I'm just gonna, nigga, like I say, when I was born, nigga, Detroit was already a menace. You feel what I'm saying? When I came out, nigga, it was already a menace. I don't know no other time when that motherfucker wasn't a menace. When motherfuckers get to talking about, even back in the early 1900s, it was a motherfucking a gangster city. You feel me? So it's already that way, but you still can't fall into that frequency because it's a lot of niggas already took that road, and you know what the outcome gonna be. Anyway, family, we just getting started. Hey, I dropped 2 fire presentations on Patreon. I want y'all to get over there and get it. You already know it's packed. Visuals off the chain. Go get that work, and I'll be black in a minute. Boom, black pop.